It's fine. I've nearly run out now anyway.
Good.
Got 10 bottles to get through.
Okay, we are live.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Katie McManus. This is Lea Turner. I'm so excited to have her here today. We are live on LinkedIn, the Facebooks, and YouTube. And just to clarify, because Lea is drinking wine, it is in the evening after work for her, and it is afternoon for my Although I really wish I didn't have any client calls after this so that I could be joining you right now in a glass of wine.
I have got like 10 bottles of wine to make my way through. I got gifted so much wine, I've had to order a wine rack.
Right. I know.
Problems.
I mean, the beauty. Oh, hi, Joseph. Welcome.
Hi.
So the beauty of impacting and helping so many people across so many platforms is that you do get bestowed with gifts of wine. And what was the gift box that you got for Valentine's Day?
Oh my God, I got a huge box of flowers from Floral Couturier with like candles and Yves Saint Laurent makeup. Oh my God, it was amazing. I've actually had so many gifts, like not just I have had a lot of wine. Someone sent, one of my clients sent a toy for Dexter. I've had coloring sent for Dexter. I've had so much. Someone sent me a hand warmer because they saw that I was having really struggling with Raynaud's in my hand. Mm-hmm. So one of my clients sent me a hand warmer. Like I've had T-shirts. My friend Jerry sends me like stuff with my logo all over it. So I've got like a hoodie and a mug. My house is getting full from things that people give me. And it's like, I've never known anything like it. I'm not really a gifts kind of person. Yeah. Being single for so long, no one ever bestows gifts on me. I never get spoiled. And like now I get quite a lot. It's really nice. Yeah.
Well, it's so beautiful. I think it's a nice reflection of how generous you are in your content and in your one-on-one sessions. And anytime you're hosting a group that people just want to be generous back to you.
Yeah, it's really, and you're one of them.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, you are though, because after our first session, you were like, I'm going to give you a coaching session in return because you've not charged me enough money.
I know. Well, it's Women's Month this month, and you're going to be featured. Am I allowed to say this? Or is this a big secret?
No, it's not a big secret. Okay. I don't think anyone at LinkedIn's watching.
Yeah, you're going to be featured for Women's Day. I'll just put it there. And you and I are both big believers of supporting other women. You know, there's no such thing as competition. A rising tide lifts all boats.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. And I think yours and my friendship really underlines this, because we do work in similar spaces where we're helping people build their personal brands in different ways. And we could totally, badmouth each other and say, oh, well, they're doing it wrong. But rather, why not have it be complimentary and lift the other person up?
But that's exactly what we've done because you've referred. I've lost count of how many clients I've had. I worked with a lady last night who was referred from you.
Yeah.
Jill.
Oh yeah, I love Jill. She's wonderful.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she was absolutely lovely. And David, who I've just seen in the comments, David Fryman, he was referred from you, and it's been so lovely because you just say, go to Lea. Lea's the one you need for what you're doing, and you are such a shining star for my business because of how much success you've had as a result of the training. Not purely as a result of the training, the way you've implemented the training has been astounding. Yeah. And I constantly say to people, look at how Katie writes. She writes with personality. And that is so it's exactly what you want because people know exactly what they're getting with you. Right. Even your headline cracks me up every time I see it.
Thank you.
It must be such a conversation starter.
I forget where it came from. I think I was in conversation. I was like, stop being a weenie. I'm like, oh my God, that's my line. That's tell people. Because it's like playful and fun and it also calls them on their bullshit,
That's why my headline is LinkedIn coach brackets, yes, another one, because it immediately stops that whole cliche of another LinkedIn coach. I'm like, yeah, I know another one.
Yeah.
But
Totally. But your service, and the reason I recommend it to so many people is because you don't just tell about the algorithm. You don't just talk about here's what you need to do every day. You really give people permission to go onto LinkedIn and be themselves, which is really what I think the magic of LinkedIn is, or it's becoming.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a professional resume platform anymore. It is a place for people to actually show up, be themselves, create their authentic brand, and actually make friends and contacts.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's been a byproduct. I started doing the coaching just to teach people LinkedIn skills, but it quickly became apparent that one of the biggest things that people struggle with on LinkedIn is they go into it with this like corporate mindset of, oh, I have to be like super corporate and I can only write sales pitches and this kind of attitude. And I said, no, that's not. And so we end up breaking down that barrier and me building their confidence up, not just in posting, but actually in themselves and the fact that they are interesting and what they have to talk about, what they have to say is valuable, and people will enjoy reading it and enjoy getting to know them through it. And when you actually let them tell their story and then you say, okay, but that's really interesting, that would be really helpful to people. And they go, really? And it's almost like they just have no idea that their story is valuable. And when I actually sit there and I say, yeah, but I'd be really interested finding out about that. And I'm not faking it.
Yeah.
This isn't like a script I stick to. Genuinely, everybody has an interesting story. And I want to know someone's story because it's going to make me want to work with them more.
Totally.
Because I've got context. I know why I want to support their business. And I'll probably pay more to support their business because I feel connected to them. Now, I'd rather work with them than just Google a random company.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and we put such high bars on what would be interesting. Like literally a story about how you spilled your coffee all over the dog and then had to give the dog a bath and all this stuff before you got to your first morning meeting, and then like felt like you were going to screw everything else up, and then it went well.
Yeah. And other people will relate to that because they'll feel seen, they'll feel validated, they'll feel less self-conscious because you've embarrassed yourself a little bit. And that's actually one of the key ways of building trust with people, is to not be afraid to be a bit self-deprecating and embarrass yourself, because it makes other people feel less awkward about potentially doing something wrong or not saying exactly the right thing. Like I screw up all the time. I remember one of my most viral posts was me talking about the fact that I was taking a break from work and I was hanging the laundry in the garden.
Oh, I remember that one.
And I had my headphones in and I was dancing to and singing to Justin Bieber's Despacito. About, you know, I don't even know the words because I don't speak Spanish. So I was singing about burritos or something, and the neighbors had caught me dancing. And so many people could relate to that because they've been caught doing silly, goofy things and had embarrassing moments. Yeah. And I think like that's part of what's made, I guess, my profile so relatable and who I am so relatable, is because I really give no shits about embarrassing myself. Right. I am fine with that. I do it regularly. I'm clumsy. I'm always dropping things and falling over things. So,
right. Yeah. And it's funny, sharing those things does make you feel like I'm friends with this person because I know something about them that, you know, someone walking down the street or someone in a business meeting wouldn't know about them.
Yeah.
And we
I guess that is it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we like being in business with people that we like. That's it.
Yeah, and that really is the key when you're talking to somebody. You can have a room full of strangers, and then you see that one person that you know, and that's the person that you will walk towards and have a conversation with. Unless, like, you really don't like them. But generally, if somebody seems familiar, they're the person that you're going to walk towards because you feel safe with them. Mm-hmm. So if you've got a sea of business coaches in front of you on LinkedIn, which is true because LinkedIn is literally just a whole page full of business coaches or coaches in general,
right?
You will gravitate towards the one that makes you feel comfortable,
right?
And the one that you feel like you know a little bit about, and maybe you found something in common with. So if you don't ever talk about what makes you who you are, why does anyone have confidence in what you do?
Totally. The biggest surprise for me in my business, because I talk about having ADD and I didn't think about it beforehand, but I've actually gotten a ton of clients because they heard me talking about how I have ADD, how I manage it. Mm-hmm. And because they have ADD and they're sick and tired of people out there trying to tell them to do things in a certain way that just don't work for people with ADD, they completely resonate with me and they end up wanting to work with me because I understand them.
Yeah, I'm the same. And I think that's partly why we understand each other, because I have ADD and I only found out in the past few months that I have it because it was recognized in me by my very good friend who is a psychologist. And she said, you do have ADD. And I was like,
is that Mrs. Toffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, do I? Because I've never known, because I've never had anyone to compare myself to. For the past 10 years, I've worked pretty much on my own.
Yeah.
So I don't know how other adults deal with things. And it's only since I've started being around and speaking to people who have the same issues as I have that I've gone, well, maybe this isn't quite normal. Maybe this is something that makes me different. And and so I did the online self-assessment thing that you're supposed to do to take to your GP. And it was like full-blown conclusion. I was like,
no question. You don't have to go to the doctor. Here's your prescription for
yeah. I mean, I don't plan to get prescribed anything. No. I have developed coping mechanisms in my life, but the lack of attention span, and when people say just time block, like, no, time blocking doesn't work for me. No. Like, I can't sit and watch a film because I'm distracted constantly by everything going on, and it's really hard for me to sit and read a book, which has got worse as I've got older. Like, cleaning the house is a nightmare because I'll start 10 different jobs and not finish any of them. It's so exhausting. Now I put the washing on this morning with my bedding and I completely forgot about it. And I've just gone, there's no linen on my bed tonight. So it's now like 8:30 in the evening and I still got to dry my laundry. So I can
do you want to go do it now and I can just entertain?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. No, it's absolutely fine. I'll just sleep in a cold, wet bed. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I the same. It's and you develop all these workarounds to make sure that things don't happen like that. Like, I have multiple sets of sheets because I know that I do that to myself all the time.
There's a really good example of one of the things. So I always forget stuff. And so when you're a mum, forgetting things like, oh no, I don't have a spare pair of pants and he's potty training. Or I've gone to the supermarket, and in the UK, you have to use like a £1 coin for some of the supermarket trolleys. So that you don't, because everyone in the UK is like a thief. So if you, apparently putting £1 in there means you're going to give it back and not take the trolley, which was like £100 worth of trolley. But we have to put a £1 coin into the trolley, then take the trolley into the supermarket, and then take the trolley back to where you got it from and get your £1 back, right? But I always forget to have a £1 coin with me. So I made this box, and my friends were like, oh, you're so organized. I was like, no. This is an insurance policy, because I know how disorganized I actually am. So I have a box in the car that's got things like spare pants for my son, tampons, £1 coin, dog poop bags for when I go to walk the dog, a nail file, like all these things that I will routinely forget, sunscreen, for this. And I always forget them, and I don't have them in my handbag. So there's even a spare credit card in there.
There you go. Well, don't tell too many people that, because they'll find out where your car is and break it.
All right, they don't know the PIN number.
No. Oh, there you go. I've left my my car in California because I got stuck in Massachusetts on the other side of the country for the pandemic. So
your car has just been sat there for a year.
My car and all of my belongings are in California, 3,500 miles away from me. My best friend is like running my car every once in a while to make sure it doesn't die. But for a while, my friend Raz was borrowing it for a few months. And he's like, Katie, you have cowboy boots and you have a bench that like is unfinished because I was building a bench in a woodworking class. You have all this stuff in the trunk of your Fiat. Like, can I put it somewhere while I use it?
That's exactly like me. My car is like an extra bit of storage because my house isn't very big.
Right. I have like, he said that he found 7 spoons in the car. Well, yeah, because like when you're eating breakfast, you walk to your car and you eat your breakfast and then you put it down and the spoon always falls out. But he's like, are you a crack addict?
But you disposed of the needles, all right? There's no real evidence.
Spoons, whatever. You can spoons anywhere. Needles, you handle that. In San Francisco, they have so many needle drop places.
Someone in the comments has just said that he's switching off because we're speaking too fast.
Oh, okay.
See ya.
Oh, sorry. And I just want to say hi to everyone. We have Guy Graves, we have Amber Nagel, I think I'm pronouncing your name correctly, David Fryman, Lauren Lefkowitz, Samantha Mitchum, Rich Cardona, Britt Pitcher.
Rich is my clubhouse buddy.
Is he?
We do Clubhouse every day on about LinkedIn. We do a Q&A.
Oh.
And I've got a little group of American buddies.
His face looks really small, but he looks handsome. Let me see. We have Theo.
There you go, Rich. There's a compliment for you.
We have Kevin Carr, Chris Owens, James Bogey. I love that last name. Samantha.
Is it Bogey or is it Boggy?
Bogey. I don't know. I would say Bogey, but maybe he'll tell us. Is it Bogey how I'm pronouncing it, or is it Boggy how Leah's pronouncing it? That's fun.
Bogey in the UK is like
Bogey is
like what comes out your nose. Is that what you call it? That person said he's not a native speaker. I can imagine the speed may be too much for him. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But we speak fast, so
we do. It's the ADD in us. We think fast too.
My brain doesn't stop.
Not all. It's so funny. She has the octopus next to her name, and I asked her about it, and she's named it Des. And I guess there's a backstory, but I want her to do a video telling the backstory.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So Leah, I'm really curious. I want to talk about what you have coming up because it's really exciting.
A break. That's the most exciting thing for me.
Yes.
I have had an insane year, obviously. I haven't stopped coaching since June at all. So it's been like I've been fully booked pretty much every single day since August, which while homeschooling during lockdown has been full on. Apart from Christmas, I had a few days off over Christmas. So
and I want to add, you've had a puppy that you've been wrangling.
Yeah.
A better word.
Yeah, that was a great idea, wasn't it? Oh my god. I was not expecting another lockdown when I got a puppy, just for the record. So that's been a bit tricky, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
So I'm having a break from the 17th of March until the middle of April, where I won't be coaching because I'm not having time off work, really. I'm still going to be working. But I've got lots of other projects that I'm working on. So I've got more resources that I want to create. I'm working on my online course because my one-to-one classes are now much more, they've got a lot more stuff involved in them. And there's a lot more resources that are going to come with them. So I've put the prices up. So the prices now feel quite high. And some people are not going to feel like they can invest in that. So I have provided an online course, which is a more wallet friendly option. And that was deliberate because I want to do less one-to-ones so that I'm not so drained of energy, because I need to have energy to put into other things that I want to do.
Right.
So the one-to-ones, I'll be doing less of them, and my online course will take people through a lot of the basics. Like if you don't know how to use LinkedIn, if you've got a LinkedIn profile but you're not really sure how you're finding clients and how you're supposed to be engaging and how you should be finding and writing good content, it's going to cover it all from creating your profile and filling in everything on your profile properly to what you should be having, where you should be finding your ideal clients, how to connect with them. All of that stuff is going to be covered in the online course. It's going to be really comprehensive for the price that I'm planning on charging. Really comprehensive.
Yeah.
So while I'm on my break, I'm also going to be hosting a webinar on the 30th of March. That I'm really excited about. I'm only planning on doing one. It's not supposed to be like a regular thing, but it's basically going to be going over everything that I've done from the very beginning to build my audience and to create a trusted, strong network of people that support not just me, but support each other. And how I've really nurtured that and create, I've had about 450 to 500 paying clients since I started on LinkedIn across the two businesses. And that includes people that have bought resources from me and people that have had over 220 people I've done coaching for now.
Right.
Which is like mad, absolutely mad in the amount of time that I've had.
I just want to touch on so I worked with you when you first started doing LinkedIn coaching, right? back in May of 2020. And when I went to look at how much money I'd made in 2020, I realized that $50,000 US had been attributed to lead generation that I did from the instructions that I followed that you gave me.
Wow.
Which is absolutely
wow. That's really good, isn't it?
And I just want to underline for anyone watching, if you're thinking of doing a one-on-one session with Lea, yeah, the price is expensive, but it's totally worth it. I paid less than that because you were charging so little when you started, and that's why I was railing on you for so long to raise the prices.
Yeah.
But I mean, the return on investment would still be just absolutely insane.
One of my clients from the very early days sent me a message the other day saying that he has had over £200,000 worth of business directly off the back of his LinkedIn, because I've helped him write posts and I helped him to really start creating his personal brand.
Yeah.
And another one, like within 3 weeks of us working together, he'd had 20 grand's worth of fees generated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And it's so nice because some clients will go off, they'll do stuff, but they never come back and actually tell you the achievements they've had. And you'll get an idea because you can see them doing really well.
Right.
But when they actually come back and say, I've got so much business because I did the things that you said to do.
Right.
And the techniques that I teach are foolproof.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with them.
Right.
If you commit to it and you do it regularly, and you keep your engagement up and you keep posting, and you keep getting to know people, you will not go wrong. It cannot fail to work. The only time it will fail to work is if you don't actually do it.
Right. Right.
So if you're really determined that you want to do it, if you book and you actually commit to it, you'll get your money back within like 1 or 2 leads.
Totally.
Probably 1 lead, really. With what most people don't just have when they get a client, it's like, so it's £600 to work with me, 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get 1 lead, 1 new client from that, that's gonna be paid back to you really quick.
Oh, totally.
And that technique can go on and find you 20, 30, 40 new clients over the next year or so, if you keep it up. So
a metric that I would love to see from you is, how much money has been generated in the first year of someone working with you for all your clients, because I would guess it would be in the millions.
Yeah, it would be in the millions. 100% it'd be in the millions. Yeah. It would have been in the millions within the first couple of months.
Right. Which is incredible. So you have this webinar, and you mentioned right before this call that there's only 28 spots left.
Yeah.
There's
I sent an email out yesterday saying there's only 25 spots left. And so many of them booked up. I was like, I'm going to buy the next package. So I got space for more people, because I was like, I still got 28 days before.
Oh, it's 25 days. Okay.
Well, it was supposed to be like 75 slots, and that was it. But we're only 3 away. And I've got 28 days to go. So I was like, I'm going to have to make some more spaces. So I've upped it to 100. And because I'm just like, do you know what? I've got 28 more days, and it would be crazy if this really is going to be a one-off. Then I really need to make sure that everybody's going to get a place on it. So I'm a little bit nervous, though. I've not presented to that many people before. 100 people, that's a lot.
But you know what? It's going to be on Zoom, right? So you can just hide everyone.
I don't want to see. Yeah, I don't know, though. I think I'd feel better if I can actually see a few people's faces. I think my personality comes out a bit more than if I'm just like talking to myself, and I'm like, I feel really awkward.
I know. Guy Graves is asking, would it be good for you? I'm just going to vote and say yes.
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 Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm literally going to be going over everything that I've done, how you're interacting with people, how you're going to be looking for new clients, some of my tactics, not all of my tactics, obviously, because you're not paying the price of a one-to-one, but a lot of my tactics that will really be quite game-changing for somebody who's reasonably new and amateur on LinkedIn. So if you consider yourself new and amateur, then it's 100%, get involved.
Yeah.
But don't wait too long, because there's not going to be tickets left.
Well, what I'm so excited for is, next year the world's open and you're getting booked on stages and you're giving talks about being authentic and being yourself and not making it wrong in the workplace. like allowing for how, like what value you add to speak for itself and not worry about if you have tattoos or if you swear occasionally or whatever story people have about what makes them professional.
It's a very strange thing on LinkedIn because my tattoos and the way I look is what kept me away from even thinking about getting involved in the corporate world. And actually, when I came onto LinkedIn and I started posting, yes, I got a bit of pushback from people that thought I wasn't professional, but in the majority, people have really welcomed it, and it has allowed me to stand out. Yeah. And although it's not going to keep me in the limelight, because you need to have, just because you look a certain way, it's not going to keep people interested in you for very long. You've got to provide value as well. But it's certainly been something that has been useful in getting me noticed, getting your foot in the door initially. The amount of corporate companies though coming forward and wanting to work with me now, training entire like European sales teams. I've got a call next week with an American company that potentially want me to train their entire sales team of real estate agents. And I'm like, this is mad, because not one of these companies would probably hire me as an employee, or they would think twice about it if I walked into an interview, at least before I opened my mouth. But it makes me happy that the world is changing to some extent and actually going, hold on a minute. And some of the people that follow me are people that I would never expect to support somebody who looks like I am. The way I look isn't necessarily conducive for some of the people that follow me. It makes me sort of think, ooh, actually she's not what I expect her to be. And like, I do love that juxtaposition of what people expect me to be and who I actually am. I think it's probably one of my strengths, because people are a little bit disarmed.
Yes.
It's almost like they have this stereotype in their mind, and then they hear me speak or they come into contact with me, and that's shattered, and then I can almost build them back up again, and then they're like, oh, this is not what I was expecting at all. And you've got them a little bit on the back foot then, haven't you? Almost.
Well, and I think the impact that you're having, like you go into these companies and they're like, oh, we just hired this consultant to come in and train our people. And then they look around and it's like, oh, we haven't been hiring this type of person. So it may actually break down that barrier for people who do have tattoos, who do look different, who do, have a different approach in their appearance.
I hope so. Like, I do genuinely hope that there are some CEOs out there on LinkedIn that follow me, that the next time they're interviewing a young woman that walks in who's got a half sleeve tattoo, that she doesn't hide with her work shirt. They don't immediately discount her, because they've actually seen a successful woman who can speak properly and who can articulate herself and be successful, and it's changed their perception of what success or professional should look like. And I genuinely hope that I've done that, because I'm not someone who defines myself by my tattoos at all. They are just there because that's right. They demonstrate how I feel on the inside. Right. I'm colourful and happy and positive and flowery and covered in like birds and all of that on the inside. And that's all it is. It's not because I'm into some sort of a subculture. It's not because I love pain or anything like that. It is just an artistic expression. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything more than that. And when people assume that I must be part of like a gang or used to be in prison or like poor or like no class or anything like that, it's like, no.
What always astounds me is when people look at someone with tattoos and think that they're poor, because tattoos are so expensive.
I know. Do you know what? I have over £20,000 worth of tattoos on my body. Oh my gosh. I have not paid for all of them, because I'm very lucky that I've got a few friends that that do tattoos, and I've skill swapped with them, or I've house sat and dog sat for them, and then they've tattooed me in return, things like that, because I couldn't afford it. But when you think about that, and people think tattoos are cheap, like you're paying £80-90 per hour for a decent tattoo artist, if sometimes more. So my whole body of tattoos is over £20,000 worth of work, and I've paid more than £10,000 myself.
Right. So, and sometimes you're even planning for the art, like the design work that they're doing before they're even tattooing you.
Sometimes, not me personally, but yeah, sometimes you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to design something and then not get paid for that time.
Right.
If someone decides not to show up or.
Right.
Yeah.
And tattoos, I mean, I have 2 tattoos.
You rebel.
Oh, I know. But it's like they're becoming so much more. I mean, look, I mean, like I'm pretty buttoned up.
You look like a school teacher.
I know. This is actually because the collar's sewn in. So it's just
it's not even a real sweater combo. No. You've deceived us all.
I know. I've broken trust with everyone now.
Living a lie.
I know. Even my mother, like she went through the roof when she saw that I had a tattoo. I mean, it's a Harry Potter tattoo. It's not even.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've got a Harry Potter tattoo as well.
Yeah, but it's just it's the new wave. There's people that are expressing themselves all over their bodies in different ways, and I love that it's becoming a more acceptable world for everyone.
I find it weird that people make such a fuss about my tattoos, but no one ever mentions my piercings. Like, no one ever does. Like I've got 3 rings in my nose, and I've got like my tongue pierced and my lip pierced, like the top lip pierced. Nobody, and the dimples in my cheeks are because I used to have cheek piercings. Nobody ever mentions my piercings or the fact that I've got massive tunnels in my ears. No one brings that up. It's like I've got I've got 1 inch holes in my ears, and no one ever mentions that.
It's so funny. Yeah. So what? We're wrapping up on time because I want to be respectful. You have to get your sheets dry.
Oh, I do.
I know. What's something that you want to leave everyone with?
Oh God, I said this one on. I can't use the same one again. I said yesterday, because this is one I've heard recently that I really, really love, is stop living your life now as if retirement is guaranteed.
Yes.
Because especially after COVID this year, we're all about saving, and we won't do that yet and pour all the money away. But what if you die next week?
Right. Yeah.
There you go. Pretend to be deep. I did steal that off somebody I saw on Instagram.
And we live in a world where we like guarantees, but there's nothing that's guaranteed.
No, and that's the big lesson That's the biggest lesson I've taken from life, is because when I lost my dad when he was only 41, which is only 5 and a bit years older than I am now. I'm like, if I only lived till 41, have I done all of the things? Because he traveled the world. He'd gone around the world twice. He'd been in love. He'd been married. He'd had children. He'd done everything. By 41, he had really lived. Mm-hmm. He could have done a lot more living, but he'd really lived the years that he was on Earth. And that's how I live my life. That's how I want to live my life. Because if I do die before I'm old, then I want to make sure I made the most of it.
Yeah. And I think you'll make the most of it. I think you'll leave a lasting legacy.
I hope so. And it's not about money for me. And this is what I said yesterday. My dad's funeral was absolutely packed to the rafters when he was buried. And I want that. I don't mean I want loads of people to be sad that I'm dead. I want loads of people to celebrate my life because I've impacted them some way and helped make their life better. That's far more important to me than a lot of money in my bank, although that would be nice as well. So if I can do both, that'd be great.
Yeah. And the money in the bank thing, I mean, money is just energy, right? So the fact that you've empowered people to not just make more money, but know that they can be the narrator of their own life and call that energy into themselves. Yeah. I'm going to get a little woo-woo on us.
No, but just building their own confidence in their ability to network and be interesting and talk about their story in a way that can empower and help other people. And that's really powerful, because it's not just that person that I'm helping that person to help other people. And it becomes this whole ripple effect, which I love. I absolutely love. And while money is not the driver for those things, it's a great side effect, because it means that I can be secure with my son. Because up until this point, or up until September, I was relying on, like, my job didn't make me enough money to pay for everything. So I was getting some support from the government and support from my son's father. I don't get anything anymore at all from anyone. It's just us. Yeah. And that will only get better because I'll be able to buy us a house.
Right.
which, you know, that's the goal, is give him the best life that I can. And the more money I have, the better I can travel the world and give him things that he deserves.
Yeah. And I can't wait to send you a housewarming gift to your new home.
I can't wait to come visit you in New York.
I'm
definitely coming over there at Christmas time next year if we can. We'll come over for after Christmas for New Year.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the world will be opened up and all the fun things will still be there.
I hope so.
Yeah. I just want to really quickly, I did notice that James Bogey said that I was right. It's like the golf term.
Okay.
And I want to say Kevin Farr, hello, Ryan Mickelmoyle. That is, I don't know how to say that. And I think I'm pronouncing it correctly.
McIlmoyle?
Mickelmoyle?
It sounds McIlmoyle. It sounds Irish.
It sounds
Scottish. It's Scottish.
Well, it sounds Mickelmoyle. It sounds like it's Yiddish and I together. I don't know. We'll have to hear from the audience. Nikki Furman, hello. And Katie Nuttall did share the story about Des. Very exciting.
Okay. We can go back and refer back to that one then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm dying to read that. But thank you so much for joining me on this.
That's okay. Thank you for having me. I put makeup on and everything for you.
I did too. I normally just have my light just doing the work for me.
Can you not just do this through Zoom next time?
You know, I haven't figured that out. It's like so
come on, there's got to be a YouTube guide.
Well, what we can do is we can record it on Zoom.
Yeah.
And then we can just share the video with people. You and I can just chat. But then like we could accidentally forget that we're about to share it and talk about stuff that doesn't belong on LinkedIn.
That's fine. That's my habit anyway.
Yeah, right.
It's what I do best. Oh, I nearly knocked my wine glass over.
Anyway, thanks again for joining me. And thank you everyone for tuning in. For those of you who we spoke too fast for, I'm sorry. I don't have a different speed. And I know Leah doesn't either. So I'm so sorry. If
watch the recording back in slow-mo.
Exactly. Yeah. Our voices will drop like 7 octaves. Anyway, I'm Katie McManus and this is Lea Turner. Thank you all for joining us. We are going to be saving this, so you'll be able to rewatch it if there were any nuggets in there that you really wanted to hear again. Have a good afternoon and good night wherever you are in the world, and talk to you soon.
Bye.